points. And to all the attendees, if you want, you can now, unmute yourself or ask a question directly to any of the speakers here. You're most welcome to do that. So I just have a few opening questions, and maybe I'll start with you, Dr. Channa, first. Can you, and I'm just talking here for a person who's totally new to this area, there are two terms you always see. There's a psychologist and there's a psychiatrist. So
Yes.
can you explain to us what's the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist? And if a person is feeling that mentally unwell, who should he first go to? And, or what's the objective?
Right. Your first part of the question is who is a psychiatrist and who is a psychologist?
Yes.
A psychiatrist is one who has gone through the medical school. So psychiatry is one of the specialties of medicine, just like cardiology, nephrology, gynecology. So is psychiatry. So
Yes.
that is a psychiatrist, is basically a medical doctor. A
Okay.
psychologist is one who has done a master's in psychology at the university. With you do the graduation with psychology major, then you might do a master's in psychology, and if you want to become a clinical psychologist, then you do a PhD. Most of the clinical psychologists are also doctors, but they are PhD doctors.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basic difference between psychologist and psychiatrist is being a medical person and a non-medical person.
Okay. Okay.
Your,
And what is the first port of call if I'm
so your
going?
second question was where should one go? The
Yeah.
first port of call is neither a psychologist nor a psychiatrist. The
Okay.
first port of call is your GP.
Okay. 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 I didn't know
Because
that.
the
So a GP
GP,
can
I
help
can
you with
tell
that.
you a lot of mental illnesses like
Yeah.
depression, like anxiety, like stress, like insomnia, so many of these problems
Hmm.
are actually treated by the GPs.
Okay. Okay.
So if the GP feels that no, this person needs more than what I can offer, then the GP decides,
Okay.
am I going to treat this person A, but I also want some psychological input, then the GP will refer you to a psychologist. But if the
Okay.
GP feels that I have been treating this person with so many medications for 3 months,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
not making any headway, I need
Hmm.
a psychiatrist to assess and treat this patient, and they will refer to us.
Okay, okay, that's how it works. No, good to know that basic difference because we all hear these big words, but few understand. Or another question is that apart from the GP, do you recommend any other sources to get information or help if someone seeks help, and especially in terms of confidentiality, if a person is shy to even speak to the GP, is there something else we can do?
Especially for young people like yourselves, for the
Yeah.
younger generation, Google is the God. It has all the answers. So,
Yes,
so there are
unfortunately.
like Youthline, like
Okay.
Lifeline. There are
Yeah.
so many websites. Then
Okay.
there are so many apps.
Okay.
For example, somebody is anxious, somebody is not sleeping. You can have the
Yes.
help of those apps which will guide you through
Okay.
those things.
Okay.
And but when it comes to stigma and confidentiality, I have to tell you, look, you can talk to your GP with the confidence that whatever you speak to the GP,
Hmm.
only you and the GP knows.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to really stress this point, even with the psychiatrist and the psychologist. When you talk to us, even your family will not
Hmm.
know unless
Okay.
unless
Yeah.
I am concerned that your action is going to harm someone. Then the
Yeah. Okay.
confidentiality is taken off the
Okay.
shelf.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
otherwise,
Hmm.
you can talk to these health professionals and
Yes.
it will remain confidential. But
Yes.
there is a
Okay.
lot of material online
Hmm.
and lot of services online
Yeah. Okay.
that
Okay.
can be.
Okay. No, no, thank you for that, sir. Can I just move to Nish? Just a quick question for you, Nish. So, you shared the beautiful concept of the circle of influence and the circle of control and circle of concern. And also you shared a very practical example of where some things stand. Now, if we have to put it in our daily life, what will be the tip you would say? Is that something we should do it like maybe every weekend, try to create that, or is it how do we make it into our way of thinking? How do we, any practical tips on that?
Um, I look at these circles as sometimes a mental dump. When the
Okay.
noise gets too much in the head,
Mm,
there's a huge sense of overwhelming desperation.
mm,
Nothing is going right, nothing is going my way. I feel like I have no control. The minute my mind tells the world control to me, I
mm,
have no control. And the mind throws that
mm,
up on a regular basis,
mm,
even now. No
mm,
matter how many
mm,
tools I throw at myself,
mm,
once in a
mm,
while I do lose control. And it
mm.
says, and it
Mm.
says, I have no control. Everything is out of
Yes.
control. The minute that word comes, I'm like, okay, right, you have a tool,
Mm,
Nish. Open up that toolkit, pick up a piece of paper, draw your three circles. What can you do? And every single
mm,
time I've done this, I've come up with one thing I can change.
mm.
And
Okay.
it need not be more than one. And this, the
Mm,
mental map I showed you guys had
mm.
many,
Yeah.
many objects in it. Even if
Yes.
you can reduce from 5 to 3 to 2, 5 to
Yeah.
3 to 1, to a
Mm,
half, to a half a
mm,
step, to a
mm,
conversation you can have with someone,
mm, mm,
anything that gives you a positive
mm,
direction is a
mm.
win.
Okay. Okay. So which means we can even use this for a micro circumstance, like just even a situation or even a single
Absolutely.
problem if we are
Yeah.
facing.
Yeah.
Mm,
For example, recently I used it when we were doing the whole thing around alert levels and traffic lights. You know
mm.
how all of us got
Yes.
completely confused, and confusion,
Yeah.
lack of clarity causes me the
Mm,
most amount of anxiety when I
mm,
don't understand facts. And so I said,
mm,
right, okay, this is fun.
mm,
Now we'll do this.
mm,
And so I use it
mm,
for situations as well. So
Okay.
life events, situations, I want to bring about a change, anything. It
Mm,
will work anywhere.
yes. Okay, that's lovely. Anyone, by the way, any other expert who has any questions or anything else to add, discuss, please feel free. It's an open forum. Um, one thing I will go to Chow on this. So, uh, Chow, can you also share some tips on? You spoke about mindfulness, but how can I use it practically in our life and apply it to my to improve my mental well-being on a day-to-day? Any few tips you can give us, or any
Yeah.
live real life examples?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I personally use mindfulness quite a bit in my daily life. I use it as a tool to ambush my crazy thoughts from time to time.
Okay,
You know,
okay, yes.
even just 10-15 seconds, that would be really helpful. Like it's
Mm,
really simple. Like when you're walking,
mm,
sometimes
mm,
when we are walking, we're not really walking. We're thinking, oh, why did the person say that? Oh, what's
mm,
going to happen if they
mm,
say no to my job application? All
mm,
those thoughts, and just
mm,
gently become aware what you are doing right now. If you're
mm,
walking, you sense
mm,
that how
mm,
your feet is, touching the ground.
mm,
And if you're
mm,
taking a shower, really pay attention to how that water is coming out from the shower head. If you're eating, really just pay attention what you are eating right in front of you, the smell, the
mm,
taste. If you're
mm,
drinking coffee, just exactly like what we did.
mm,
So you
mm,
can kind of escape from that chain of thoughts for a
mm.
while. And
Okay,
you don't,
okay.
yeah, you don't have to do it very long. Like, some people
Mm,
sit there 1 hour. If
mm,
you're just a
mm,
starter, it's going to kill you straight away. Like
mm,
you won't
mm,
enjoy that. Just
mm,
10,
mm,
15 seconds of
mm. So,
pause and realize
what
what
I'm
you are doing.
hearing is you're saying that stay in the moment. I think that's what you're saying, right? Stay in the moment.
Yes.
And also, what I'm hearing is acceptance, acceptance of your current situation. Is that correct? That's the core value of mindfulness.
I will be very careful with that word of acceptance, because many people always
Okay.
think, oh, if I accept it, yeah, this is destiny. I can't do anything about
Okay.
it. I become
Yes.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
doormat. That's
Yes.
not what
Yes.
it meant. It's about
Okay.
truly
Okay.
understand what's going on right now and see it as it
Mm.
is. And on top of
Okay.
that, you can
Mm.
still react. there are still
Hmm.
yin and yang, in Chinese
Hmm.
culture, we say yin and yang
Hmm.
side of that.
Hmm.
So yin is
Hmm.
about acceptance, but you have the
Hmm.
yang side, you have to take actions
Okay.
and make a
Action over
difference.
it. Yes.
So it's
Okay.
intertwined. Yeah.
It's intertwined. So it's basically the first step, not the goal. It's just the first step to understand and then move on from there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's, I think that's very close to what Dr. Channa was also saying, that, when we crib about working from home, at least be happy you have work. I think that's a very good example, Dr. Channa, because just today morning I was cribbing to my wife that I'm tired of working from home. So that really rang a bell to me. So, but that's true. We tend to forget our to count our blessings. That's also I think that's very key. Uh, just calling in Dash also here now. Dash gave also a very positive spin on how how some sectors are growing. Like
Hmm.
again there's all, it's not all gloom and doom. In the job sector, you're seeing some sectors are growing. So and also you spoke about how to think of alternative careers. So I'm just thinking of some students who may have studied, for example, business management or something else, and now suddenly they see that field, they're not getting a job. And you are suggesting that they should look at alternate careers, maybe also in construction, or even they're doing management in construction or any other. What's your advice on navigating this change? How to think of these alternative careers? When you've done a course in a particular thing, how do we do that?
Yeah, I think the first step is to find a career consultant, and that's help is available via TEC. TEC stands for Tertiary Education Commission. It's a
Okay.
government-funded organization, and they have career
Yes.
consultants working for them. They can also, if they are immigrant students, they have from another country, they can look at Work Connect. Work
Hmm.
Connect is also another
Hmm.
point of where they can provide advice, but that's for people 7 years and under in New Zealand.
Hmm.
So that's another
Hmm.
specific target. But
Okay.
generally, you can go to careers.government.nz and find that
Hmm.
information out.
Okay.
If someone's looking to work in construction and that's the path where they might want to take, they can talk to me because
Okay.
Manukau Jobs and Skills Hub, where I am at the moment, we
Hmm.
specialize in careers in trades and construction only. And we focus on
Okay.
that for people who either want to jump into a career or want to sort of change jobs
Hmm.
or get experience what's it like working in trade and construction. Like I said earlier, it's not just about laboring. It's many things in the industry, and we can
Yeah.
provide them guidance to where they can study, what they can do to sort of have a foot in the door opportunity there.
And also, you mentioned some, like you were talking about some sectors which are growing. Is there any resource you can suggest people can go and check out about, developments in different industries?
Yep, I can tell you the source that I pull that information from. It's actually on the Korea's government website. I can send you a link, and if you want to share it with
Yes.
along with this,
Yes.
that's fine. I'll share the
Okay.
link with you.
Sure. Sure. That will be very helpful. Um, any other question in the audience? Anyone else who has a question, please be free. We have
I
another
just want to
5-10 minutes.
I just want to
Yeah.
add something with regards to when putting yourself out there, how important is having a right CV, especially in this market, because
Mm,
with the more candidates applying, there's more competition with people viewing your CV, and the
mm,
timings of viewing a CV
mm.
has also reduced from a recruiter's perspective.
Yeah.
So before it used to be around 16, 20 seconds of initial viewing and then move on, but now it's around 10 seconds. That's the average at the
Mm.
moment. So if you're
Oh
unable
my
to
God.
make an impression in 10 seconds, you're going to lose the recruiter and they're going to move on to the next
Okay.
CV. Um,
Okay.
it does sound to people who are new to job search that it's cutthroat and all that kind of jazz, but to counter that, you're going to be applying for more jobs. That's what I mentioned earlier.
Mm,
And to
mm,
counter that, you're going to have to go to a professional getting a CV done. You're going to have to
mm,
see if your CV has content more than
mm,
having a nice colorful image or
mm,
tables and all that kind of other stuff. Skip the
mm,
fancy part, get to the
mm,
content. Content
mm,
is where
mm,
you're going to be
mm.
focused. Content is king basically, and you need to
Okay.
focus on that in your application and
Okay.
CV. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question from Santa. He's saying, I'm 46 years old, worked in retail and supermarket for last 12 years in New Zealand. Is there any chance that I can change my job to the construction industry?
Yes, you can. You have transferable skills. You've worked in customer service industry. You know how to deal with people. You could try looking at opportunities in construction, but in the customer service space. So you could be working for in a trades department providing advice or consultancy services there. You could be working probably for Martin in their retail department. I mean, that's the transferable skills right there. Something to do with construction doesn't mean working as a laborer, like I mentioned, but there are so many other options, and I'm happy for you to reach out to me via Gary, and I can give you some more brief.
Yes, Santa, thank you so much. You can pass on, we can pass on Dash's details to you, and you can directly get in touch with Dash, and he'll be able to guide you. That was lovely. Just one more question for Dr. Channa. Dr. Channa, before you came, we were discussing on how, this COVID has definitely hurt the migrant community a little bit more because of uncertainties of our family being overseas, uncertainty of borders, uncertainty of the job market, and other things. You did touch upon a few ways to overcome, but any particular attention to the youth and the students? How do we create that maybe a bit more patience? How do we create that safety net for us within the community? Any words, any thoughts from your side on that?
I think in our community, at least that I know of, the Indian community, we have got a lot of people doing wonderful job. You know about the Bharati Samaj, you know about Rupa Ora, you know about Shanti Niwas. There are so many,
Yes.
and I since I'm attached to these two, which I mentioned, in these last 2 years, at least from the mental health point of view, a lot of our youngsters, some of them who are working here, some of who were students here, have had a lot of stress, depression, anxiety, you name it, they had it. And they approached these organizations, and I was able to talk to them. They have got counselors, they have got a psychologist, they have got a psychiatrist. We treated some of them. Some of them needed to travel, and that was helped because especially the students, they find themselves in a bind here because of whole travel ban.
Yeah.
Just imagine that you were about to fly out, and
Yeah.
suddenly there's a lockdown for next 3-4 months.
Yes.
You don't have
Yes.
money enough to. I remember one
Yes.
student who did not have any money to buy the food,
Hmm.
his next meal. But good thing is that he rang someone who rang the Rupa or up, and we then ensured that he was looked
Hmm.
after. There are so
My
many
God.
good, our very, very wonderful Sikh community. There are
Yes.
gurdwaras who have
Yes.
helped with migrant students,
Yes. Yes.
ask them to come and even do a little bit of work in those places,
Hmm.
voluntary work
Hmm.
in exchange for, it's not, money is not the only important thing.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you had $1 million and
Yeah.
you're in the jungle where Chow was sending us in the
Hmm.
forest all alone with $1 million,
Hmm.
you can't
Hmm.
buy anything with that $1 million. That's
Yeah.
useless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So those places provided them company,
Okay.
advice, food, shelter.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that's what we have to do.
We have to
The
do.
communities have to come up
Yes.
and
Yes.
help
Yes.
their
Yes.
youngsters.
Yes. So one more quick question, and I think Nish, then I'll give it to you. One question, Dr. Channa, is that we all sometimes feel low, we feel depressed, then we talk to a good friend and we get a cheer up, and then we carry on with our lives. What is the time, with your experience, when do we know or when we should think the alarm bells are ringing for us? I think most of the times the problem is with the diagnosis. We don't know when we really need professional help and support, and where it is just we are feeling low about situation. So can you guide us on that? When does a person should know that, okay, now you need not just a good friend, but you need professional advice?
That's right. That's right. Um, if we go by the medical definition, it says 2 weeks, but I would say 2 to 4 weeks. If for 2 to 4 weeks you are not feeling well, which means, and it's not just that your mood is low. That's not depression. That's an English word we usually use. Hey, I
Yeah.
was feeling very depressed after watching that movie. That's not
Yeah.
clinical depression. Clinical depression is when your mood is low, when your sleep is disturbed, when your
Okay.
appetite is not. There is you don't want to go out with friends that you
Okay.
love. You are not able to enjoy. Your friends drag you to a very nice lunch.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
neither enjoyed the food nor their
Hmm.
company. Now, if
Hmm.
these things happen, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, your mood is low, you're not enjoying, you
Hmm.
are avoiding things
Hmm.
that and people that you enjoy
Yes.
being with.
Okay.
And if
Okay.
that goes for more than 3 weeks, I would say go and talk to the GP and tell him. Because then the
Okay.
GP can give you a questionnaire
Yes.
and
Okay.
you fill the questionnaire and the GP will score it and will come to know quickly whether it is. And also, even if it is depression, that doesn't mean that straight away you need to be on an antidepressant.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
might just mean that you go and see our psychologist friend
Hmm.
who will then challenge your thoughts, like what the previous speakers were telling you, that you think that I can't do anything, and that might be a wrong idea that you have.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so that's,
Yeah.
and if the psychologist feels and the GP feel that you need to be on a medication, I also want to really stress, because this is one thing that people struggle with. People think that if I take antidepressants, then I'm a loser, I'm a depressed mental patient, and I will be hooked onto these medications forever. Please,
Yes.
depression is curable. Okay, hypertension, diabetes, asthma, these are treatable but never curable.
Okay.
Once diabetic, always a diabetic.
Hmm.
Okay, on the other hand,
Very true.
depression is completely treatable. You, depending on severity and who you are, treatment will be from 6 months to 12 months. That's it.
Okay.
Some for
That.
6 months, for some it's 9 months, for some it's 12 months, some is 15, very few. But by then, the depression is gone, you're doing well. We withdraw that medicine slowly,
Hmm.
and you carry
And you
on with
back.
your life.
Wow, that's a very positive thought. Very
Why
positive thought.
suffer?
First
Why
time I'm
suffer?
hearing this. Yeah, you're right, because it's curable. Then what's better than that? Yeah, you just need the right support. Yeah, good. So
Absolutely.
Nish, you had some question?
No, I had a thought, and it's in continuation to what Dash and Dr. Channa was saying as well. So on one side, we're talking about the the safety factors of our immigrant community, right? How safe do we feel right now with our families so far away, with so many things impacting our daily lives? This constant flux between risk and normal, risk and normal, risk and normal, and we don't know where we stand. So we're in a huge state of flux. One of the things that's a byproduct, but also existed way before the lockdown, and Gigi, you and me have spoken about this for ages when we spoke about the Migrant Career Support Trust. And we said,
Yeah,
what is the underlying problem with the immigrant community? It is the
yeah,
psychological safety that we have, that we
yes,
can do what we choose to do with our careers,
yeah,
that we have
yes.
choice,
You
we,
have
we have
choices.
agency
Yes,
over our
yes,
growth and our career.
yes.
I see so many people from the community, and I work with them day in and day out, undersell themselves. Now, Dash said,
Hmm.
go to a professional, get a resume done.
Hmm.
First step, they will make a rock solid resume for you. But you've got to next then go and market yourself.
Hmm.
You've got to
Hmm.
Yep.
back yourself up. Have a
Hmm.
strong voice within the
Hmm.
spaces provided to you,
Yep.
Absolutely.
right?
Hmm.
If
Correct.
I don't know how to market my skills, which are
Hmm.
there on a
Hmm.
resume, which are written in
Hmm.
bold, and I don't know how
Hmm.
to stand by them with
Hmm.
conviction, and to say,
Hmm.
I can do this, I can do this with an
Hmm.
expertise that is unmatched by
Hmm.
anybody
Hmm.
else you will meet in the
Hmm.
interview today,
Hmm.
why should anybody be convinced?
Yes, 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 yes.
And
Very true.
so some of that power will come because of a few things we're talking about. Number one, you give yourself the support systems that you
Hmm.
require, whether it's of a
Yes.
psychiatrist or a resume writer. You've got to give you have to ask for help, you have to get that help, and then you have to use that as the leapfrog platform.
For your correct.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
I think, Nish, you talked about networking, and I think Dash said how many percent jobs are actually through the networking. I have
Yes.
been working in this country. Two things I wanted to quickly say. One, there was that question that I am 46 years old, so that person has some sort of a doubt. Yeah, I'm 46. Can I now do something else? To him, I want to say, I was 42. I was a surgeon, and I came to this country, did the exams, changed my career to a psychiatrist, trained as a psychiatrist, and
My
now
God.
20 years working as a psychiatrist.
My God.
Anything is possible when you make up
Yes.
your mind to do it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Very true.
So number two, since 1998 that I have been working, from the first job to my last locum that I'm doing at the moment, I have never applied for a job.
Okay.
It's always
Okay.
been networking. I have been
Yes.
asked to put an application, and I knew that,
Hmm.
okay, so I'm going for this job. That's
Yeah.
networking.
That's networking.
These are
Correct.
very, very
I think
essential things.
that's the place we should all want to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chow, you
And
had some point. Sorry, Dash. Yeah.
sorry, just very quickly, thank you, Anil. Just really important that you mentioned about networking, because I also want to touch on people who are not experts in networking. That is not about you knowing every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the country or where you're living. It's just about that one connection. Even that one connection can get you a job or get you in front of somebody to can help you get into something. That's enough. You can be an introvert, you
Yeah.
can be an extrovert, it doesn't matter. As long as you break that barrier of getting out there and doing something different, which you haven't done before, which is what's
Yeah.
required in this market right now,
Mm,
that's gonna
mm.
actually help you get where you want.
Yes. Chow, you had something to say?
Yeah, also just saying that, yes, we all know like networking is important. And when we're really talking about networking, it doesn't have to be someone like you completely don't know. It could be someone really simple, just right next to you. Like it could be, if you're a studying student, it could be your lecturers, your classmates. And it could be people from your sports community, from your gym, from the church you go to, or from temple you go to. So just become mindful and become aware. If you see the world through the eyes of abundance, you can see opportunities are everywhere. And
Yes.
Also, if really like you have tried everything you can, like try everyone around you, and still there's no outcome, then it doesn't hurt you to try and create some connections. I always kind of challenge my clients, if they do have a few companies they would love to work for, it doesn't really
Yes.
hurt to just write an email
Okay.
to them and say, hey, here are my core skills, and I'm not sure whether this could be useful to your firm, but I would love to
Yeah.
actually have a
Yes.
chat with you if that's
Yes.
possible, to have a
Yes.
coffee chat.
Yes. Okay.
Hi, Gary.
Thank
This
you for
is
that.
Shashwata.
Yes, Saswata, yeah. Saswata, sorry, before that, I think Vijendra was waiting for some time. Can we just ask
Sure.
Vijendra? You have a question, Vijendra?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Come
this is regarding to NISPA, that slides I was seeing. There was a abbreviation DIY, and I noticed this DIY. What is the full form? What it is written there?
Do
Good
it yourself.
question. Good question, Bijendra. And I should stay away from jargon. That's a good lesson for me. DIY is do it yourself. And because I work for Mitre 10, we call ourselves a DIY company. So we help people make their dream homes come true
Yes.
and by themselves. So DIY. And I really love the DIY approach because it takes control. You take control of your growth. We have been taught forever and ever that we have to, number one, get permission to do things in our lives.
Yes.
So we wait for permission. We are used to our parents, our grandparents, our society, our neighbors, our teachers, the whole world telling us what we're supposed to do. So we wait for permission. And the second thing, we wait for others to do it for us. We wait for somebody to give everything on a platter to us. Now go and have a life. But there's no one coming. There's no one coming to help us. There is no cavalry. We are the cavalry. We are the cavalry who will win this war for ourselves.
Yes.
So I really love the DIY
Wow.
approach. Take care of
Wow.
yourself. The world will take care of itself too.
That's a very good explanation of DIY. I always knew what is DIY, but fantastic explanation, Nish. Full marks to you on that. I think that's very good.
And what can you repeat 3 tools again?
Yeah. So the first one is simplify the stress in your life by figuring out what is in the circle of concern, reducing it to the circle of influence, and then further reducing it to circle of control. So all you have to do, Bijendra, is go Google circle of control, and it'll give you a whole ton of research. It's by Stephen Covey. So Stephen Covey was this amazing, brilliant mastermind who came up with it. So that's his model. The second tool is continuous learning. So how do I get out of the comfort zone and get into a try, fail, and refine approach? So that's your continuous learning. And the third one is how do I network? How do I increase my circle of influence by inviting more people in?
All right. Thank you.
So, okay. Thank you, Bijendra. We'll move on. I think Dr. Channa had to leave, so apologies from that side. But thank Dr. Channa. I think he's left for now. Quickly, we'll have Saraswata, and then we'll close the session now. We'll have the last question from Saraswata.
Feeling privileged to talk as a last person. Thank you so much, panel, and hi, Dash. So, as from a audience point of view, I really want to say that I have tried my bit to understand what works in this country as I landed in 2017, started with my PhD and came here as a student. Slowly, I got a job at ADHB as a permanent full-time job. And now I have submitted my residency and I'm awaiting residency to happen pretty soon. Not anymore a student, part-time PhD, submitting my thesis pretty soon. So what I want to say that what I have learned in my 4 years and tried to do my bit, that I call it as a machine gun theory. Because if you come in the field with a bow and arrow, it's only going to be one arrow. And we are not powerful as Arjun, that the one arrow will be multiplied by 1,000 as we saw in Mahabharata. So better to carry a machine gun. And as you talk to many people, one of them will definitely be there to help you. I started talking with Dash and I met him at Deloitte. From that day, I remember now I am here. I have sort of paved my own way and people have helped, and now I'm talking to so many people and they are so helping in nature that I am actually having 6 meetings in a week with 6 different people because of career. And I am not Einstein, nowhere my name doesn't start with E either, but it is like what I'm trying to say, that if you try, things will happen for sure. 99%, 1% nobody can guarantee. But yeah, it is very rewarding. It is immensely rewarding. So go out in the wild field with a machine gun. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That's a very good thought, Shashwata, and many congrats to you on your journey. And I think thank you for sharing your journey with all of us. And best of luck. We hope your machine gun keeps running.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So any other question or last thoughts? And then we'll bring the session to the close. Any last thoughts from our speakers, if they want to share anything? Yep. Dash has said it all. And Chow, anything else from your side? Okay.
Not for now.
So,
thank you.
Yes. So I think with that we can close our session today. So thank you again to Dash, Nish, Chow, and all of our people who have joined us and remained with us all this while. I hope this session was fruitful for you. Do send in your feedback to us, and we look forward to being in touch with all of you. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Have a great break, and thank you again to all experts for joining us and giving their time.
Thanks,
Merry Christmas,
Gary.
New
Thanks
Year.
so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chow.
Happy
Happy
New Year.
holidays.
Bye-bye.